Hello, all. I hope you've had a good day. Man, what a day. What a day. I'm watching Candace Owens right now, but I paused it because I want to make my video because I have so much that's come to me and I just know myself. And it's so funny seeing all the crap on my algorithms and how much I'm censored. I'm probably going to build another backup TikTok just to flood it. I like to flood things. I like to change things up, keep them on their toes. You know what I mean? And so, excuse me, I burped. So, today at work, it was just such an interesting day. So much came to me. And then watching this episode with Candace and her releasing that call with Erica, which was just so hard to even listen to. But I resonate with it so much because this is how these people operate. They really do. In their mind, they're so warped in the mind in whatever operation they're in a Truman Show, because that's exactly what it was that Charlie was in. Like, I know it was. I understand. Like, I completely do. And somehow, some way, I am also been very much in a very similar kind of thing, but not to the magnitude. And I now see why. I do see why. My gifts are very different than Charlie's. My gifts are very different than Charlie's. Okay. And again, agree to disagree. You don't have to believe me. By all means, you don't have to do that neither. I'm good with that too. But me, I know. I know. You don't know, but I don't know. Like, I've always had the gift to read people. I just have. I can read people's thoughts in different ways. Their feelings, their emotions, their battles. And I just see things. I see things and I know things. I do. And it's just like an internal dialogue that I've carried with myself my entire life. I have a lot of internal thoughts. I do, always, like, simultaneously moving in my head. And I never really could tap into it until this last year and a half, where it's kind of been me, myself, and I walking solo dolo and not allowing the exterior world to sway me in different ways, sway my thinking, manipulate me, gaslight me, create all these illusions. Like, now I see all the illusions. I see the attacks and everything, and I see the mechanics behind it. I just do. And I move and I operate in the way that I do. By the grace of God. It's like all glory to God. None of it's me. It's all God. It just is. And I know that. I see that. And I respect it and I honor him. And I honor Jesus. I just do. And I carry it at the highest regard. I just do. I don't play about it. So when I come into contact with people, particularly people that claim to be very religious, devout Christians and be very in the word, in the gospel, and then they recognize it's like they claim to be this, but then they run establishments and they don't pay enough. They don't pay enough for livelihood. So imagine coming in contact with people or working for establishments that claim to be extremely devout Christians and faithful people in whatever walk of religion they're in, but also recognize that they don't pay people enough to eat. They don't pay people enough to live. Better yet, they hold people's pay. There's that venture too. You know what I'm saying? And so it's very interesting. It's very interesting. And so when I come into contact with people like that, I just, in different times, like, I'll just shut you out. In my mind, you might be talking and I am not listening. I've checked out. I have. And call it what you want. Call it confidence, call it conceited, call it whatever. But that's just the truth. You have to get to your place when you walk in who you are. You walk in your authority of who God calls you to be. And you recognize what God stands on. And then you also recognize what God doesn't stand on. Right? And Erica Kirk and God, Charlie's dancing in heaven and with Jesus, like, oh my gosh, what? And if you need to grieve, use your PTO, your paid time off. I mean, this is just how they operate. It is a nonprofit. Absolutely ludicrous. I am not book smart, but I carry an emotional intelligence level that's like outside of this world. And I don't feel less than anybody when it comes to their like title or their status quo or their position of money, because I've been raised in so many different areas where I've been surrounded by people that have a lot of money. And so I'm well prominent on how they operate, as well as I've seen a lot of people start with nothing and get a little taste of something and either lose their lives, it's taken them out, or taking them down really funny roads. Just look at my previous boss. And I literally watched the making of it. I watched the transitioning of it. And so I'm very well versed on how they operate and how they move. And so I've learned how to operate in it. Like, I realize, based off everything that follows me in reference to the shadow banning and the censorship and all these things, like when it comes to me making money on any of my platforms, that's just not an option for me. It's just not. And so I move around in the system that's been built around me because it's so been prevalent in my life in reference to the control and the mechanics and the setbacks and the illusions. Like, I'm not supposed to be here today. I was done already, supposed to take my life, you see. And seeing as I haven't done that, it's like scramble here, setback here, obstacle here, illusion here, tactic here. Let's throw this person in. Let's throw this interaction. Let's throw that. And so it's so like very manufactured. It's very calculated and it's very manufactured. You start picking up on these patterns, and I do very easily. And so these are notes that I took. Abused mind control. She said that in reference to the gifted program, the X-Men school. They do abuse your mind. And in ways, they abuse Charlie's mind. And that's why I find it to be very interesting that after, in the text messages between him and her, in reference to, I feel like I'm going to leave early, and it was after he started TPUSA, is like he knew that he was kind of in a psyop. He was in a Truman Show. And he knew that it was going to be the reign of his demise, but God was going to work through it. Because when you truly give your life to God, which I know Charlie did too, he trusted the process. He trusted everything that he was walking through. And so have I, in reference to everything that I have been through and all the abuse and the mechanics. And there's a lot of mind control when it came to my previous marriage. And I see that now. And that didn't work out in their favor neither. That definitely didn't work out in their favor. And so you get to a place where you start holding people accountable. Like, I started holding him accountable, and then I had enough. I was like, bye. And I was completely, that whole entire thing was mishandled, which I will unpack. 100%. I don't understand why we have lost sight of holding businesses accountable for better business practices. That's so unique to me. I can't tell you how many times in the last decade of my life, or 11, I mean, really my entire life. And I started working when I was 15, and I have not worked. The longest I've went with not working was for a month. And that was for me trying to find a job when I resigned from said job. Because Lord knows. And I knew I was going to have to crawl my way through it. I knew I was. I know how these people operate. I'm 100% well prevalent. And that's why they're shivering. And you should be shivering. You should be shivering. Because I have no intentions on going anywhere, and I have no intentions on being quiet. But I will not play your games. Now, do I know how to play them better? Absolutely. And should you grab your notepad? I probably would. At this point in the venture. You guys should be ashamed of yourselves at this point. No one in their right mind, okay, you might have your mind, but it's not the right mind. When you go to these great lengths to destroy somebody, just because what you say is so, and again, I know it goes above them, and there's like all kinds of different layers involved in this: family, government, religion. I mean, every tactic, every like portion of it is all involved. Like there's no crevice missing. And it's like, I've just gotten to the point where it's